Hello, my name is Dr. Bagley. I'd like to thank you very much for joining me on another webinar or broadcast, depending on how you're looking at me. Today's topic is financial education. I am Dr. Bagley. Give you a little background about me. I grew up here in the heart of the ghetto, I guess you can call it, here in Wisconsin. I knew that I didn't want to be in the ghetto all my life. So what I did, I decided to go to MATA, probably where you're watching some of this broadcast. Went to MATA and learned about production, built up a nice portfolio, graduated high school, and started my career. After the career of the business, sold the business for personal reasons, and throughout my cycling, if you will, of going through that money, became homeless. Decided to join the military to get out of homeless. And it was one day when I was back from a deployment where I was going to McDonald's and I met this elderly lady and I asked her, why are you working? Is it because you have to, or because you just really are bored and you really don't have nothing else to do? And she ultimately said both. And I thought to myself, you know, do I really want to work all my life, even in the military? And I love my time in service, but do I really want to work all my life and then retire to the point where I still have to make some extra income to meet my needs or my lifestyle needs? And to me, the answer was absolutely not. And so I went down the path of learning what I should have learned when I had money, but I didn't because that wasn't the forefront. Sidebar, the forefront of the old way is work hard to make money. If you have a good product, you can make money. Well, nobody told me, and I had to take it upon myself through some minor events, that when you make the money's not yours, it's time to invest. And so I went down that path, and my goal now is simply to retire, financially retire. The earlier the age, my personal goal is at 55. So I'm about, 46, getting ready to turn 46. My personal goal is to simply retire, financially retire. And I'm not saying I'm not going to do anything. All I'm saying is I just simply want to retire financially. I do not want, for me, I do not want to live a life, grind my way through this and find myself miserable because I have to work to sustain my lifestyle, or having to work and not even have the lifestyle that I really want. Okay. So I went down that path, learned what I learned, got what I got. I'm on that right path. And so right now, what this program and webinar is designed is to help you give back to you, because I believe once I receive it and put it to work and make it happen, then it's time for me to give it back like somebody who gave me. So this is the financial education. I am Dr. Bagley. I have my PhD in psychiatry as well as divinity. So both sides, I'm all about the state of mind, but I make my money in other arenas. This right now is the introduction of business and growing from poor to middle class to rich. We're going to get into that so you can understand financially who you are in the books and where do you want to go. My contact right off the bat is right here. You can email me at any time. I'll get back to you probably, if it's after hours, the next following day. Call me, please call me on business hours, okay? Business hours. All right, let's get into this thing here. Business, let's get a definition. What is business? Business is a noun. It's a person's regular occupation, profession, or trade. This is what a person does. Now, in context, it's the practice of making one's living by engaging in commerce. Okay, so what's commerce? Well, let's go back. Commerce by itself is, the layman's term of commerce is simply to make money. The idea of we'll get into that. All right, so that's what business is. Business is ultimately someone, the person, you, me, anyone, and how we make money. Okay, stereotype. Stereotype used to look like this, suits and ties. Well, we can tell the executives simply because of these suits and ties. Please forgive the squeakiness, is my stupid chair, but I love it. And still today, a person could see and recognize a person is of business or in the arena of business, especially like downtown. But you have to be careful for stereotyping, because with this new generation, the kids, the emphasis isn't on the clothes, the emphasis is on the product or the service. And so therefore the clothes is secondary. And so when you talk to people, and I'm giving you this right now, stereotype is simply because of this. If you will just look at me on an everyday, normal, walk the street, drive my van to the store and back, you will probably I'll probably look like one of these guys, shirts out, blue jeans. Well, you know, the ripping thing is now in style, but the blue jeans. Now, if I'm really going into a counseling session, I'm going into an executive meeting, board meeting, of course I'll put my suit on, but my everyday thing is regular clothes. I don't wear a suit all the time. And I think this is what the people, you guys, are stereotyping, that you have to dress up if you're in business. No. Looking nice depends on what the style that you're trying to look nice in. To business executives, now, again, it just depends on what the type of business you are. But as an entrepreneur business person, you might see me in this. And so therefore you'll look at me and stereotype me, saying he has nothing, he knows nothing, because look at him. And that is purposeful. This is lesson number one. It is purposeful. Stereotyping, we know about stereotyping. We study about body languages and so on and so forth. So we know that when we look a certain way, you're going to perceive us as this, how you look at us. And I didn't know that in the beginning, coming from the heart of the ghetto into the money, but I've learned that after the fact, that you have to dress down so other people don't get jealous, you know, mad at you, try to cut you down, go after you, borrow me some money because you look like you got money. And here's the thing. When we have money, we don't want to spend our money on things that really you don't need. Do I really need to drive a nice car? No, it's dependable, yes, but a nice Lexus or something like that? No, why? I got my camping gear. I love to go outdoors. Can I afford the trip? Yes. Can I go wherever I want to go? Yes. To me, that's more important than the idea of having a nice car. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. The money is, by definition, is opportunity. And when we look the way we look in stereotype, we choose, those of us who have a lot of money, choose to look that way because that is not our priority. Our priority is other things. If you want to look good, fine, look good, but that's priority and that's where your money's going towards. And so when friends of mine say, hey, let's go to Costa Rica, let's go to Hawaii, and it's like, go tomorrow, do you have the money to do such? Stereotype is in two parts, and this is a lesson. One is, don't stereotype people just because they dress a certain way. And two, don't stereotype people because if you do, you're going to miss out. You're really going to miss out. You're going to miss out, okay? So let's move on. Let's move on. Character of business, respectful, fairness, cooperation, compassion. Spiritual respect is another one. Humility, courage. These are nice characters to have, but this is the introduction of business. So let's keep it nice and simple and easy. Okay, let's move on. Cameras. Okay, let me go back one. Boom. Character of business. This is the character of how to run your business. You, the person, how you run your business. Biblically, if you decide to go down the biblical, it has its own set of character rules. Don't cheat, scale, don't lie, don't deceive, and so on and so forth. Other businesses in today's, you think it's not this, but it is. Now, in business, as a business owner, it comes in two parts. One is how I am when I walk in the room. How do they perceive me, my character? And two is how do I perceive them, who works for me? I want a certain type of character team. And so these are some of the beginning bases. Depending on the business, will determine the type of character. Depending on the role that they have to play will determine the character. All right, so please understand that the list that I've just given you is just extremely basic in introduction. Commerce. Commerce is simply the activity of buying and selling, especially on a large scale, you know, when we talk about government, the GDP, and so on and so forth. Social dealings between people. All right, so let's look at that in a little bit. What is commerce? A way to make money and how. Commerce, buy and sell. Let's look at what that really means. You have a product or a service, and you're going to sell that product or service. So someone is buying it, someone is selling it. There is a trade-off. Okay, the trade is what we call currency, money, currency. You receive currency as a trade-off when you give time and work, and your time and what you do within that time. At a certain amount of time, you trade off, you receive currency for a service. That's a service when you work for someone, you're providing a service. So manufacturing, they build something, an Apple computer or Google, or not Google, any computer, anything objectively, this mouse, for example, is something you can put your hand on. That is a product. And so therefore, someone who's making the product is selling it, and someone who wants it buys it, and the trade is called currency. Now, the very basics of business is what we call supply and demand. All right. What governs a successful business is a supply. What do you supply to the demand of what people want? Okay. Now, if I say I have a talent and my talent is making paper planes, whatever, I don't know. And I'm thinking me making paper planes, that's my talent. I do very well. I don't see nobody else making it. So I say, hey, get a couple people, let's start a business, let's supply the paper planes. Now, here's the problem with a lot of people who wants to start their business, and that is this. They didn't take an account of the demand for the paper planes. What's the demand aspect of it? Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do it in the scale of selling and buying or commerce, being part of a business, okay? And a lot of people put hope in the idea, and a lot of people have been lied to from fake people with the idea that you take your talent and you mature your talent. Well, that's nice in theory, but that's not reality. The reality is, what is the demand behind what you can provide, either a product or a service? The higher the demand for it, the higher someone wants it, the more you can make, or you can simply trade the currency, money, for it. And that is what governs a successful business. Give you an example. Long time ago, not too long, actually, wow. Long time ago, Kodak company came out with the film. Kodak was awesome with their film productivities. Their Canon went along with that, with the camera, and something happened between Kodak and Canon, the camera maker. Kodak got undercut because of digital computers, pixels, and so on. I can take a computer back in, I remember the transition, but there was a time where you can take a picture for the very first time. It was grainy and nasty, but you can take a picture without film. Now, slowly, Kodak didn't realize that the demand for their product, the film, was changing. The demand for it was changing. Canon, the filmmaker, the camera guys, they saw this technology and got on the bandwagon fast. So they went from film cameras to now digital cameras, and they improved the digital camera because that was the demand, not because the company wanted to, because the demand from the people, the buyers, was wanting this, and they provide the product. Kodak, who provide the film, was faded out because they couldn't figure out how to keep up or alter the way of doing business to meet the demand from film to digital. You see what I'm saying? So I'm using those two companies and how they govern themselves for success. It's not the fact that you have a talent, it's the fact of what people want. And if you can figure out what they want and you can provide it, the product or service, then you should make, you will be able to make money. Now, we get into a higher realm and to the point of saying, all right, guys, is what you provide, the product or service, is it of a standard, and so on and so forth. So, but for right now, I just want you guys to understand this concept of commerce, the very basic aspect of commerce. Now, how many ways can you make money? How many ways can you make money is very simple. I know a lot of you throwing some numbers out, thinking in your head, there's a lot of ways to make money, but you're thinking of the avenue of it, but not the actual point of view of it. And that's probably why you who don't have money is thinking like that. There's two ways of making money in a business-minded person. In a business-minded person, there's only two ways. There's only two ways. The first way is people work for you, and the second way is money works for you. So let me define these two ways. People work for you. I own a business. I provide a product or a service. So it's me who own it. I get people, manage it, supervisors, and then you have the workers. Then you have the consumers. There's a trade-off, product or service, versus currency. So you see that? That's the trade, product or service, P&S, and currency, the money symbols. When people work for me as a company owner, and not owner, controller, I should say, I could be an owner depending on the shares, if it's a corporation, if it's a LLC, and I'm the only member, and so on and so forth. But the controller, me who controls the company, has managers and workers, and how I make money is not because I do something, it's because I hire people to do it for me, and they hire people to do it for them, and they provide the product or service, and the consumer has a supply and demand issue. The consumer demands for it, we provide it, and there's a trade, product or service, and currency is the key. But this is the first way of making money. A lot of people don't like this way because of trust issues, insecurities, not knowing business by itself. For a corporation, for example, you don't even know what a corporation is. You don't know how it governs, how the laws, and so on and so forth. So people tend not to do this, and they get afraid of the unknown. So they work for somebody else who's willing to do this. And let's go on. So we have the buyer and we have the seller. We understand that concept. Okay, money work for you. Now, I have money. I have some money that I've worked. I have some savings, 401, my retirement stuff. And that's just sitting there at a lousy 0.02%. You put it in a bank, that's even worse. You put it in a CD, that's even worse. And so other people take their money out of the pool that they have and they invest in small businesses. You put money into the company has the managers. Let's back up for a second. All right, so they put investing money here, they get the managers at work to trade the money then filters back into the investor. All right. So investing in small business, corporations, stocks, bonds, those kind of things. Stocks and bonds is trading, trading in context. So one aspect is I want to buy some bonds or the stock of a corporation, and I simply buy it and trade it. I have the share or the bond, and I'm holding on to it, and I'm not worried about what it does. It's a strong company, it's a longevity company, and I'm just going to buy and hold on to it. Those are considered investors. Okay, investors. Trading are people who don't do that. They do that, but they do it on a shorter scale. You have the yearly, you have a monthly, you have weekly traders who buy stocks, who buy the bonds, who buy currency trading. There's all kinds of tradings. And they trade. They buy it. Hopefully it's going to make a profit, pull the money back out, get the profit real quick, and then go back into it and hopefully make some more money. And that's trading. That's trading versus investing. Understand the two difference. The third part is real estate, which we call the big boy investing. Real estate is an investment. It's an investment. It's a long-term investment. So be very careful for those who's thinking about getting into real estate, because your money is going to be tied up. And honestly, unless you do it a certain way, you're really not going to make no money right away. Can you? Absolutely. Will you? Probably not. Not in the beginning, because real estate is one of those things you really, you really got to understand the rules and regulation and laws of real estate. Because in real estate, for example, it's not as simple as just simply go buy a property. Unless you got the money, you can go cash. You can, which some people do, you can buy it and just go pay cash. You don't need a bank. I hate banks, not because I hate banks. I hate banks because I hate paying people interest for something, what, you borrow me something? Okay, I hate interest. That's just my personal opinion. But anyway, you might need a loan or you might not need a loan, but you have to deal with that. Then you have to deal with credit if you go through the loan process. I don't care about credit. Never had credit, don't care about credit. You buy the property. In buying the property, now you got the city, the state, you got the local area codings and so on. You got to do and deal with all of that. And then once you get that, then you got to deal with people, put them in, and how you're going to put them in, or you got to deal with investors, and hopefully you don't spend more money than you can receive back from selling it. And real estate is, by itself, is for the big boys. Just let it go if you're not ready to tackle and tie up your money for a little while. Stocks and bonds is another thing. People call it gambling. They don't know what the heck they're talking about. And investing in small business, let it be a startup company, or let it be a company like Apple or Disney or something like that. All right. Reviews, any reviews. So this is the basic introduction of the business aspect. If you have any questions, I didn't put it here, but down below, of course, you probably already seen, is my address, my email. Please email me your questions. I'll be more than happy to get back with you. I'm going to be doing some seminars and so on. So if you want to find some more information about that, so be it. All right, let's move on. Growing from rich to poor. Let's get into some definitions. Bank. Bank is a financial institution licensed as a receiver of deposit. Now, here's the bank. Bank does not make money when they receive your money. They don't. That's not how they make money. They make money on loans. Loans is a thing is borrow, especially a sum of money that is expected to be paid back with interest. So if I bring in $10,000 to the bank would take $9,000 of that and loan it out to other people in hope of that they will pay me back my $9,000 plus interest so they can make money and I get my money back into my account. Now, $9,000 is technically not out of my account because the number is in my account, but they're still taking that 9,000 number and borrowing it out to somebody else.